Hello, it is Jack Gill and welcome back to Anfield Agenda. This is the team news reaction live. Obviously, I'm 15 minutes ahead of the team news. I want to hear all your predictions ahead of the game in terms of the score and the team, of course. It's a huge game. Liverpool have had 5 back-to-back defeats at Anfield. It is not good. We've never had a period like this in the history of the football club. We're going through some pretty poor form at the minute, but today is the best time to turn it around. We can't afford any more slip-ups in that race for the top 4. It was another huge kick in the teeth, of course, dropping points and losing to Chelsea in midweek. So we need to recover and we need to pick up 3 points today against a Fulham side who have looked very, very good recently. They're in a relegation battle, but they're starting to pick up points. They're becoming a side that is hard to beat. They're looking a lot better at the back. Tottenham struggled against them in midweek, and I felt as though Fulham should have taken away a point. I feel as though they could really cause our high line some problems today with, Decor, Vareed, and some of the Lookman, who have some pace and can really cause us trouble at the back today. Of course, we know as well we'll be without Ozan Kabak, Phillips, and Davis, and meant to be returning to fitness and therefore the squad. But we don't know for sure. Klopp obviously confirmed in his press conference earlier on in the week that Kabak was very unlikely to play in this one. So let me know what you think in regards to all the team news for today's game. As I say, the official team will be out in around 14 minutes, which is an hour ahead of kickoff, of course. Let me know how optimistic you are ahead of the game too. I am quite worried. Fulham is a side who earlier in the season caused us problems. We only picked up a point against them. We were poor on that day. They probably could have taken more from that game. And since then, they've got better Fulham. Defensively, they're looking a lot better. They're a very well drilled side under Scott Parker, and a side that is, keeps managing to pick up points. And we've got a pretty poor front line at the minute in terms of form. We're struggling to score goals. Just 1 goal at Anfield in 2021, and that was a penalty, of course. Tottenham started Kane, Son, Dele Alli, Gareth Bale against Fulham and only managed the 1 goal. And as I say, Fulham were very unlucky in that game. I thought they deserved a point, really. And that handball decision was pretty ludicrous. But yes, let me have a look in the comments and see what everyone is saying. Liz Golden is saying, "Good morning, Jack. Can we possibly get a win at Anfield?" Yes, it is a good morning. I've been up for about an hour and I'm ready to go. I don't like early kickoffs. I'm a student. Early kickoffs for me is like you wake up and you watch the footy. But yeah, I'm crossing my fingers that today is the day we turn it around and get a win at Anfield. But all my optimism is fading, and I recognise the strengths of Fulham. You can't underestimate them. They're a side who are really pushing to stay up at the moment. As I say, they've turned a bit of a corner, and they seem to be picking up points recently, and they're looking good under Scott Parker. And it's not going to be a breeze for us today at all. I can guarantee you that one. So it's going to be a tough game, in my opinion. Let's have a look. Aaron Finnegan says, "Let's make Anfield a fortress again. We've done it before and can do it again." Yeah, absolutely. I've spoken numerous times about how actually it might be a good thing for us at the minute that Leipzig tie has been moved away from Anfield, which, last season, the season before, we'd have never said. I do think there's been an impact with no fans in the stadium. I do think that's changed things. I think there is absolutely no way that we'd be in this current run of form at Anfield had there been fans in the stadium. But I don't think you can use that as an excuse. Every team is in the same boat at the minute. There is no reason why it should affect Liverpool more than anyone else. It's as simple as that. Daniel Lambert wants to see Jota to start or Naby to start. I would like to see them both start. It's as simple as that as far as I'm concerned. I think the only reason I'd understand Naby Keita not being brought on in midweek is the fact that he was going to start in this one. So that is what I think. And I also think Jota will come in to replace either Sadio or Bobby for this one. So I expect them both to start, in my opinion. John Smith says, "We are slow with our passing, need to move the ball faster." Yeah, it's just one of the many things that's not going right for Liverpool at the minute. Our build-up play has been quite slow. I've seen it with Manchester City. They build up play quite slowly at times. They pass, 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 and pass, but they're really good at dictating the tempo. City, and when they want to bring the game to life, when they want a burst of energy, when they want to change the pace of the game, they do it so quickly, and you can tell when it's coming. You can tell in the build-up when it's coming, and when it happens, City create a massive opportunity, and that's what Liverpool have been lacking recently. Connor Feeney thinks it'll be 1-0 to Fulham. Lots of people saying hi, Jack. Hi to everyone who is involved in the stream. Easy Scotty 99 saying, when is the team out, Jack? Well, I think kickoff is 2 o'clock, so I think the team news will be out in around about 10 minutes. But I don't know for sure. That's just my assumption right now. Yeah, it'll be out in 10 minutes. Liam Cox says, I'd go Jota instead of Bobby, give him a rest. Yeah, I'd say that too. Put him under a bit of pressure, Bobby, as well, to show him that actually his position isn't cemented at the moment. And we saw that front line of Salah, Mane, and Jota do so well against Atalanta in the Champions League. So I'd like to see them again today. It's going to be interesting to see Mohamed Salah as well. He was bought off too early. He wasn't happy at how early he was bought off against Chelsea. Will he come out today with a point to prove the Premier League's top goal scorer? I thought he was not outstanding, but I thought he was better of the front three in that game against Chelsea. And I was so surprised to see him as the one that was bought off. But clearly there is something going on. We saw, I think Matt Critchley, the journalist, tweeted after the game saying that Klopp wasn't happy with Salah's tracking back. So there will have been a reason why Klopp did it. But for us, with a naked eye as supporters, it looked a strange substitution because Salah was definitely the better of the front three in that first hour against Chelsea, and created probably our 2 best chances in that first hour. So there you go. K-Dot says hopefully Everton and Chelsea draw. That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow to worry about. Today we've got to focus on getting the 3 points ourselves first. Otherwise, there's no point looking at top 4 rivals. But for me, I think Chelsea are going to finish second in the league now. I really do. So Chelsea winning, I don't think would affect us too much. I think they're going to surge away now and guarantee top 4. They're looking resurgent, and Thomas Tuchel, that back 5, is really working for them. And they look good against us in midweek. I know we made them look better than they probably were, but they still look good nonetheless, and they look very, very well drilled under Thomas Tuchel. Obviously, only conceded 1 goal, of course. Don't forget as well, there is so much action on Anfield Agenda today, and Mundo Sporto, of course. You've got this before kickoff. Craig's watch along is live from 1:30, and then you will have his match reaction, my match reaction, and then Craig will be live from 4:30 over on Mundo Sporto for City versus United. So there you go. That is all the content that you will have available to you today. Jack CO Banana says, I think Liverpool get 4th, 5th, 6th, not higher. 3 positions. Interesting. Pick one. Where do you think Liverpool will finish at the end of the season? Easy Scotty 99 says, hopefully City beat United today, Jack. I think they will. I think it'll be a 1 or 2-0 win for City. It's going to be a tough game though for them. United in the big games sit back. You know how they like to set up. I wouldn't be surprised to see them with their 3 back today, as we've seen them do in games like this before. So it will be a tough task for City, but I think they'll get the win again today, and then of course they won't be far away from confirming their 3rd title in 4 years. Let's have a look. Callum LFC says, it would be typical Liverpool losing 5 in a row at Anfield, then winning like 7-0 at Anfield. I hope so. I don't think it's going to be that easy today. I honestly think it's going to be a really, really tight game today. I said in my prediction, I think it'll be 1-0. I really do. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be close. I think Fulham are going to be hard to break down. But I just feel as though we will get the win today. Fingers crossed we do, because I can't take it anymore. But yeah, hopefully today is the day we turn this poor run of form around. LZ Beat says 4-2-3-1 formation, in my opinion, today. Salah central up top. Interesting. We saw obviously Klopp change the tactics against Sheffield United. Will he do something similar today? Will we go for something a bit different today? Yep, Dan Arnold also agrees with the 4-2-3-1 prediction. Areola is a class keeper, according to J1407B. Comment here from Reds for Life YNWA saying, do you think Salah wants to go? I don't think he wants to go. No, I just think he's unhappy, with certain things at the minute. He's probably unhappy that we're in the position we are, as I hope every player is. Because as I say, as fans, we can take us losing, but we want to see the performances. We want to see the fight on the pitch and the passion on the pitch. But that's not what we're getting at the moment. And I'd like to think Salah is unhappy with where we are in the league. I think he will undoubtedly be unhappy about being bought off when he was the other day. But do I think he wants to leave in general? No, of course not. I think he enjoys playing for Liverpool. It's where he's having the best spell of his career. And of course, I don't think he actively wants to leave. Though, with that being said, I think it was stupidity, his agent tweeting what he tweeted the other day. I thought it was ridiculous of him to do that. It seemed like he knew exactly what he was doing, and it's just not helpful with what we're going through at the moment. Tanis Hankin says, I'd rather finish 8th than 6th. I hate Europa League. Yeah, I'm not ready for us playing on Thursday nights. Dara thinks that Mane wants to go too. I think that's ridiculous. Do you think Davis will make his debut? Yes. Well, I hope so. I've said all week it would be nice to see, Fabinho moved into midfield with Davis and Phillips at the back. I thought that would be nice, but I do feel as though it'll be a Phillips and Fabinho centre-back partnership. So that answers your question, Paul McSee. I think it'll be Fabinho and Phillips. For me today, that is the centre-back pairing that I think Klopp will go for. But as I say, I'd like to see Davis and Phillips. I think, we've got nothing to lose at the moment, have we? So move Fabinho forwards into midfield and see what happens. What's it say here? It says Kota has to play. I assume that means Jota, or does it mean Jota and Keita? Who knows? But yeah, I'm fully on the train for both Keita and Jota to start today. The team news is just 3 minutes away, so not long before we'll find out the team news. Farhan Talks Football says, midfield, mate, thoughts on last game? It's interesting because we've seen that midfield three so often in the last few games for Liverpool. Often it looks like it works, but it also, we also have games like we did against Chelsea where it just didn't work. I thought, Gini in the 6, I'm not too convinced by. I much prefer Fabinho or Hendo in the 6. I think Thiago is better in an 8 than in the 6 too. So it's an interesting one. I'd like to see it switched up today in that midfield. Definitely, as I say, I want to see Keita start. And it'll be nice to have Fabinho back in that midfield. But it's an interesting one. I've seen a lot of suggestions that Thiago may be dropped today. But, I don't think it would necessarily be dropping Thiago. I just think that midfield needs something new. And, to have Keita back in, starting in that midfield, I think would be a huge boost and would help us break Fulham down today, because it is going to be a difficult task. And of course, Naby Keita is still unbeaten as a player at Anfield. So fingers crossed he can keep that going through this game. Let me just put this up from Mundo Sporto. Lee Chappie is only 10 subs away from 10k. If you guys can go over and subscribe to a good friend of both channels, Lee Chappie, if you can subscribe to him, get him to that 10k ahead of the game, that'd be great. Dante wants to see Salah played as a striker today. Yeah, he'll want to play with a point to prove today, Mohamed Salah. He wouldn't have been happy about being dragged off early the other night. And he'll be playing with a point to prove today. And fingers crossed, Salah's on one today, because it'd be nice to have a bit of power in front of goal and a bit of better finishing from the last few games anyway. So yeah, I think Firmino hasn't been too great in front of goal in recent weeks, so putting Salah through the middle would be a good option for today. Some people asking about Salah, I've already answered that question earlier on. Rest Mane and play Jota, says EFNS. You think it'll be Mane that'll be rested? Interesting. I don't think Mane has been good in recent weeks. I'm not singling out players though, because I think the majority of them haven't been great. But yeah, I think it's more likely that Bobby would be rested for today. Dan Arnold says, predictions for today, Jack. I think 1-0 narrow win. I think Salah with a goal. And yeah, I think it'll be a very narrow win, but I do think we'll get the 3 points today. I'm crossing my fingers anyway, because as I said earlier, I don't know how much more of this all of us can take. Let's have a look. 30 Fahim says, can we make top 4? I think we can, but it's going to be a difficult ask. But yeah, I do think it's possible still. Right, here it is. The team news is out, and I can already see that Trent has been rested and Firmino misses out completely due to a minor knock. So the fitness issues continue. It's a heavily rotated team. Wow. Alisson in goal. Nico Williams is our right back. Nat Phillips and Reece Williams is the centre-back pairing. Robertson at left-back. Wijnaldum, Milner, Keita is the midfield 3. Shaqiri, Salah, Jota is the front line. Let me know what you think about that lineup. Interesting, to say the least. It's not particularly a strong lineup. That midfield worries me. That defence is a worry. It's nice to see Jota returning up front, but let me know what you think in the comments. Usman says Mane needed this rest. Yeah, I think this is the thing. I think he's rested a lot of players today. Maybe that's what Klopp thinks is going on. Maybe, a lot of these players are just shattered at the moment, and he thinks that a rest will do them good. Maybe this is a sign that, Klopp's well and truly got his eye on the Champions League now. Perhaps that is why. But it is a heavily rotated team, isn't it? And, a news of another injury. I am very, very shocked at that team. 7 changes in total. I hope that we don't do a high line with that back 4, because I think it would be, a really bad decision. But it's an interesting one. As I say, I take from that team that he's got one eye on the Champions League in midweek. So it's a very, very interesting side. Our bench is looking strong. And as I say, a heavily, heavily rotated team. Let me read it out for you again. Alisson, Nico Williams, Phillips, Reece Williams, Robertson, Wijnaldum, Milner, Naby Keita, Shaqiri, Salah, Jota. Subs are Adrian, Fabinho, Thiago, Mane, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Curtis Jones, Tsimikas, Origi, and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Yeah, interesting. Let me read out your comments. Aaron Finnegan says, wow, that shows us Europe is our priority. Yeah, I think it does show that. As I say, Fulham are going to be, they're not going to be an easy game at all. It's going to be a tough ask. So, putting out that team worries me slightly, but it does show me that we've got one eye on that European game in midweek. It also poses the question as well, if Ben Davies is ready, if he's fit like Klopp spoke in midweek, why is he not in the squad? Interesting. Really interesting. Caitlin Bailey says, wow, we are in trouble. My God. Yabo Baggins says, time for Reece Williams to show his quality. Don't forget, before that United game in the Cup, everyone thought Reece Williams was looking good. His pace was brought into question that game. He did have an off game, and we've not really seen him in the first team since. But, it might have just been an off game for Reece Williams, and he might be back on it today. But yeah, that back 4 does worry me. The midfield as well isn't the strongest. It's nice to see Naby Keita and Diogo Jota starting. But the team as a whole, not too great. And I can imagine on Twitter right now, there is a bit of a meltdown. Josh Waite says, that's a good team. He's impressed with the lineup for today. Is Faster Tortoise 2 says 2-0 Fulham. That's his prediction. Barry LFC says Fulham must be licking their lips seeing that lineup. Ali Morali says, very happy with the lineup. Think it's very bold by Jurgen. Clearly, mixed messages from people with a lineup, mixed feelings from a lot of people. People feeling as though it's a bold statement from Klopp resting a lot of players, or is it that they're being rested, or is it that he's dropped a lot of players for this one? For me, I think in recent weeks, one of the things that I've been able to take away is that these players look absolutely shattered at the moment, and maybe they just need a rest ahead of a big Champions League game in midweek, and maybe it shows us that Klopp has his eyes firmly on the Champions League now. So maybe that's what we're doing. 3-1 to Liverpool, says Ronan Kenny. Tyler Brown says, what is this lineup? K. Dot says, we needed a change. It's for the best, in my opinion. Callum LFC says, we've changed our formation. That's why we've done so many changes. Aaron Finnegan says, it's one of those that if we lose, Klopp takes a lot of criticism, and if we win, he will be praised for his rotation. It'll bring into question, if we do win, which players keep their place for the game in midweek. I think, and maybe he's giving the players an opportunity to play for a position in the starting lineup for that European game in midweek. It is an interesting lineup, and I do think it's just rotation from Jurgen Klopp. We haven't made much rotation in recent weeks. We've been in a poor form. Maybe he's just thinking, freshen it up. Let's rest a few players and see what happens, and therefore, go into that Leipzig game with a squad that has had a bit of a rest. So interesting. Jacob Morris says, Jack, Robbo will score. It's good to see Tsimikas on the bench. I think maybe if we're in a position where we're winning late on, we may see Robbo go off and get a rest with Tsimikas coming on. Jack's page saying we've actually changed formation. What is the team, says Jack BT. It is on screen right now. Connor's done that for us now. J1, sorry, I've lost your name, but it says our defence is our weakness. What is this? It does look weak, that defence, but we have so many injuries there. We knew Kabak wasn't going to be available for this. I think Fabinho, I did say earlier on in the week, it'll be interesting to see if he can play 3 games in a week. Obviously, he's just come back from a spell on the sidelines. So I do feel as though maybe he's not fully fit to play the Chelsea game, this game, and the Leipzig game. So it does show to me, this team overall, that Klopp does have one eye on the Champions League game in midweek, and also the fact that he wants to rest players. Brackstone14 says Salah and Jota are playing as strikers. People pointing to the fact that Firmino isn't in the squad today. He has picked up a knock. Yes, yet more injuries for a Liverpool side who has been heavily hit by injuries all season. People pointed out Bobby out with a knock, like I've just said. Trent, why is Trent not on, says McGurk 101. Just rotation, I assume. The same reason that Fabinho's not in, the same reason that Curtis Jones isn't in, the same reason that Mane's not in. I assume it's just rotation. So that is why I feel like this side has been put out by Klopp today. Let me have a look at the Fulham team news. They've gone with Areola, Tete, Anderson, Bobby Dakova-Reed, Tosin Adarabioyo, Cavallero, Lamina, Lookman, Reed, Maya, and Aina. They've got that ridiculous team sheet where it's in number order, so that's why I've read it like that. Their substitutes are Fabry, Hector, Ream, Congolo, Brian, Robinson, Anguissa, Loftus-Cheek, and Mitrovic. So that is the Fulham lineup for today. Let's have a look at the comments again. Sunny Lally saying, I agree, Jack, we should concentrate on Champions League. I don't think we should. I think we should focus on turning our form around in both competitions. It's not been good enough in the Premier League, and I'm not satisfied with us finishing 7th or 8th. I want to see us push and finish as high as we can in the league. However, I do think Klopp will have one eye on the Champions League now, because top 4 does look unlikely, though it is still possible. It looks unlikely with our current form. It's not a matter of can we catch up and get back to the top 4. Yes, we're only 4 points behind, I believe, but it's whether we can turn around this form and get a consistent run of games together and a consistent run of results. So for me, there is no doubt that Klopp will have one eye on that European game in midweek. And as I said, these players look shattered at the moment. They look like they lack any kind of energy. So the rest today might do them good and give them a bit of a boost going into the Champions League game in midweek. But I still think 3 points today is important, and I don't think Klopp would have put out this side if he doesn't believe that they're if he believes they're not capable of winning. So I think I'm still hopeful, and I still think a 1-0 win today, and that's what I'm going with. Scott Brady says, is Craig doing a watch-along? Yes, he'll be live from 1:30 for the watch-along today. FC Barcelona Smith says, weak lineup. comment here saying, Davis, Bobby, where are they? Bobby is injured, and I assume Davis is still injured. But if he's not, I'm intrigued by that because he's not really made the squad often, has he? Since he's joined Liverpool, I feel a bit gutted for him, to be honest, because we were all really happy for him. For a lad to come from Preston North End in the Championship and to get a big move like this. I thought he'd do well at Liverpool, and I was hoping he got minutes. But I'm wondering now if we'll ever see Ben Davies play in a Liverpool shirt. Authentic Skype says, "Thank God we changed it up." Yeah, I think that's the thing in recent weeks, isn't it? We were getting the same results every week, and we were seeing the same team. So it's refreshing to see that we've gone for something different today. And as I say, I think the main reason for that will be rotation, will be resting players ahead of a big Champions League game in midweek. But I think also it is nice to see and refreshing to see something a little different. C-Log thinks it'll be 2-1 to Fulham. A lot of negativity today. Mansour saying, why is Fabinho not in midfield? As I say, I assume he can't play these 3 games in under a week. We had Chelsea on the Thursday, we got Leipzig on Wednesday, and Fulham sandwiched in between. He's only just come back from an injury, and I assume he can't play or can't start at least all 3 games. So that's why he's rested today. Asa Michael says 3-0 Liverpool. K. Dot thinks a Jota hat-trick is incoming. J1407B is happy to see Nabilad. People unhappy to see Milner in that midfield 3, but I think at least he brings leadership, into that midfield 3. He'll be the skipper today. We need leaders at the minute with the form we're going through to guide us through it. And Milner back into that midfield today. I wasn't happy with him coming on for the last half an hour. The last 10 minutes against Chelsea. I wanted to see Naby or Shaqiri come on. But I think we saw, and we've seen in the past, that Milner is a tried and trusted midfielder for Jurgen Klopp. So I'm not surprised to see him starting for the Reds today. Alex Campbell not happy to see Reece Williams playing. Give him a chance. Before that game against Manchester United, where he did have, a bad game, but before then he was doing all right. And give him an opportunity today. He's come back into the side, and he'll want to prove a point. He's seen us sign a couple of centre halves, and he'll want to show that he can fight for a first team spot. Comment here, and thank you for the super chat, Bryce. He says, why isn't Curtis Jones starting over Gini? Gini will be playing in the 6, I believe, looking at the side. And that's why, we're not going to play Curtis in the 6, are we? So despite the form Curtis is in, I assume, he'll be one of the first people that Klopp turns to from the bench. Mane as well. It's good to see him on the bench. We've got him to bring on if it is, still tied going into the late stages of the game. And I do think from Mane's form recently that he did need a rest. So hopefully he gets his rest in today. We still get the 3 points, and then he's back and ready to, and back in good form next time we see Mane in the lineup. Fonzie G isn't a Liverpool fan, but wants to see what we are thinking about the lineup. It's an interesting one. As I say, I think a lot of it is rotation. The players have looked shattered recently, and we've rotated heavily. Do I think it's capable of beating Fulham? Yes, of course it is. And I think Klopp would have thought that. Otherwise, there is no way he would have put this team out. But, that backline does worry me. The midfield isn't the strongest. I am slightly worried ahead of this one. But, I think that's natural with the form we have been in recently. Dan Abrams pointing out that the bench is very strong. Fabinho, Mane and Thiago on the bench. Aaron Finnegan saying Gini has been our most consistent player this season. Not too sure about that. I think in recent games he hasn't been great. When we perform well is when Gini is at the top of his game. And I think recently he hasn't been, as many others haven't been. Firmino and Trent, I think, are key for us too, and they haven't been recently. So, I think it's an interesting comment, but I don't agree personally. Let's have a look. Any more comments? Reece Williams is too slow, says Shane Buckley. I think a lot of our current centre-back options are too slow. I think Phillips is too slow. I think Kabak is too slow. Fabinho isn't exactly the fastest. So, we don't have many, pacey options to choose from. Ross says, what's wrong with Trent? I assume it's just rotation, mate. It's as simple as that for me. And that is where I am going to leave today's stream. So thank you for joining me for that. Remember, live at 1:30 on Anfield Agenda will be Craig with his watch along. After the game, Craig will be there for his match reaction, and then I will be there for my match reaction, and then Craig will be live on Mundo Sporto from 4:30 for Manchester United versus Manchester City. So lots of content for this one. Let's just cross our fingers for 3 points for the Reds today, and let's turn around this poor run of form at the minute, this poor run of form at Anfield, and I shall see you very soon. 3 points today, please, Reds. Ta-ra.